Yeah, my name is Kiprono. I direct the Open Governance Institute. Today we are at day 6 of the data collection exercise, and that also means day 3 of the data entry. Just to give you a quick summary of what's happening in the field and what is also happening at the data entry is that the target for us for this exercise is 15,000 households from the 4 wards. And so far so good. We've collected around 27% of the households. We project that in the next 4 days we will be done with the collection of the data. As of today, we've received about 3,500 questionnaires from the field at the data entry center, and we've ended about 1,500, which is in day 3 of the data entry exercise. That's about 42% of all the questionnaires that have come from the field. Maybe just give you a quick summary of what's happening in the field is that we're using about 200 or slightly over 200 data collectors. Those are the CHVs or community health volunteers. At the data entry, we have about 54 data entry consultants. What we are seeing at the moment in terms of how the data are being entered into or being captured by the data entry is that around 28 minutes on average by yesterday, which is day 2, and that keeps improving. So today we are about 25 minutes on average per questionnaire. That tells you, as the data entry consultants get to understand the questionnaire and interact with the questionnaire, they get better and better, and also they understand the system. On average per data entry, I think yesterday we did all, which is basically day 2, we did about 20 per data entry consultant, and then today we're doing about 23 on average per data entry consultant. So again, that tells you when you connect the minutes or the average time taken and the average questionnaires ended, it tells you there's improvement every day, and we're hoping for better lower time per questionnaire tomorrow, and also higher averages for the questionnaires ended. So a couple of things also that we're learning is that initially we estimated that 30 data entry consultants will do the data entry within 7 days from those 15,000 targets that I just mentioned. But what we're learning is that it's not possible. Looking at the time, looking at using the examples that we have now, what we've done is that from that 30 that initially we planned, we added about 24, so we have around 54 now, using the lessons that we're learning. We're also learning that as much as we trained the CHVs to collect the data in the field, is that they didn't capture the knowledge, they didn't get the knowledge, they didn't comprehend the questionnaire and everything else, the process, the data collection process as we anticipated, and so that has impact on the questionnaires or the quality of the data captured in the questionnaires. What we're learning from the process is that some questionnaires are incomplete or not answered fully as we expected. Now what happens is that we're trying to mitigate that in 2 ways. So the first, our teams in the field are trying to verify those questionnaires as they receive from the data collectors, who are the CHVs in this case. And for those that have errors, then they mitigate at that particular point, including sending them back, to go and correct those questionnaires in the households. The second stage of trying to mitigate the challenge is here at the data entry center. So before we issue out to the data consultants or data entry consultants, then we also verify those questionnaires. So questionnaires that are incomplete, we put them aside. Those will be returned back to the households. And then the third mitigation measure or mitigative measure is the data consultants themselves. So we've trained the data consultants the data entry consultants to understand the questionnaire and to understand what questionnaire is incomplete or why questionnaire might be deemed incomplete. And so what happens is that the data consultants will not enter data from questionnaires that are incomplete. One thing that we're noting is that as much as some of the questionnaires are incomplete, then there are some that are incomplete, but the information can be entered in the system, and in the subsequent data collection, we anticipate that this is a continuing process going forward. For households that the information is really not making any sense, those are the ones that we are not entering into the system. The challenges that we're facing in the field, we're mitigating in 2 ways. So one is at the stage where the team in the field are receiving those questionnaires from the CP. So they'll send back CPs whose questionnaires have issues. The second level is where at the data entry center, where we are looking at which incomplete questionnaires and not giving the data consultants those questionnaires to enter. Now the third and last one is the data consultant or data entry consultants themselves, where while they enter the data, they also verify. They don't just enter the data for the sake of entering. Now there's a serial number for each questionnaire, so just to make sure that we are not going to miss any data. We are tracing that serial number to the data entry consultant and to the data collected in the field, and we can trace it to the unit where that household belongs. So the process is kind of like safeguarded against any incorrect data that might happen.